Hello guys, a very warm welcome to Exampur. Good morning to everyone. Good morning everyone and welcome to Exampur. Today we will discuss an important topic of the geomorphology. Geomorphology, that is as you see in your thumbnail, that is we will discuss the geomorphic processes. Okay, so this topic is very important topic. This is a conventional topic that is very that will help you in your to develop the understanding to several theories like the plate tectonic theories and continental drift theory and other theories, which is very important for your examination in mains as well as in the prelims examination. So I request to share this session to everyone, and please share this session. Okay. So today our topic is geomorphic process. Geomorphic process. This topic is important for mains examination as well as prelims examination, and if you study this topic, and this is one of the complex topic as well. Okay, so it is complex as well. So we will try to make easy this topic for you, and you can, that's why you can develop your understanding in the easy way. Okay, so let us begin this topic. So before beginning, please share this session once and join the session as soon as possible. Okay. So what is the literally meaning of the geomorphic process? The literally meaning, as you know, that the geo meaning the earth. Morphic means the process. Morphic means this is related to the morphology. Morphology. What is the morphology? Morphology means the formation of the structures, what structure is found, how that particular structure is formed on the surface, on which process that particular structure is found. So the morphology, or you can say that the relief on the earth surface. Okay, so the earth relief or the earth morphology, the processes by which the earth morphology is developed is called the geomorphic process. Okay, so what is the geomorphic process? Geomorphic process means this geo means the earth, and the morphic means that morphic is related to the morphology. And the morphology, what is the morphology? Morphology means the relief on the earth surface. So how that particular structure we have seen at the present time, we are seeing that structure where somewhere is the mountain, somewhere is the plain region, somewhere is the plateau region. Then how that particular region is got developed with the mountain, and why this particular region is developed with the mountain, why this particular region is developed with the plain areas. So what is the reason behind that? So that region is some process is acting behind that particular structure formation. So what is the processes? We have to study here what is the processes, by which process this type of the structure is formed, and why this structure is formed. So that processes is called the geomorphic process. In meaning, if we define it, the geomorphic process is the processes in which the earth structure is formed, the earth surface structure is formed. So we should we should know about this, which type of the process is happening on the earth surface by which the different structure is forming on the earth surface. So at the present time, if we move on the earth surface, if you move on the earth surface, then you have looked at the somewhere is the mountain, and when again moved, you looked at the some particular region have the plateau area, some particular region has the plain area. Then why this type of the variation is being seen on the Earth's surface. So the different process is working on the different particular places, and that is why this variation or this varieties of the structure is seen on the Earth's surface. So what is the process? Which type of the process is working in the Earth, and why this processes is working? So if we categorize the geomorphic process, so what is the geomorphic process? I hope you understand what is the geomorphic process. So in the Earth surface or in the Earth, there are two type of the forces acting. If any process is happening, then some force is required to complete any process or to begin any process. So for any process there is a requirement of the force. So if the geomorphic process is happening, there is a two type of the force is working in the Earth. So first force which is working in the Earth, that is called the endogenic force. So as we know that for any process is happening, there is a requirement of the force. So the one type of the force that is responsible for the geomorphic process, that is the endogenic force. And another type of the force which is required for the geomorphic process is called the exogenic or the exogenic force. Endogenic and the exogenic force. There are two types of the force which are responsible for the such type geomorphic processes. So if we look in the endogenic process, endogenic or endogenetic, somewhere you will see that this is written as the endogenetic process. So what is the endogenetic process? Endogenetic process or the endogenic process, endogenic forces. Endogenic force or the endogenetic force. These are the force which is working upon, which acts beneath the Earth's surface. Okay, if it is the Earth's surface, if any force is working beneath this Earth's surface, then such type of the force is called the endogenetic force. Endogenetic force are the force which you can say that the endogenic force are the force which are working beneath the Earth's surface, and that is responsible for the formation of the structure in the on the Earth or the beneath the Earth's surface. So such type structure, such type force is called the endogenic force. And what is the exogenic force? Exogenic forces are the forces which are working over the Earth's surface, not beneath the Earth's surface. It is working over the Earth's surface. So such type forces is called the exogenetic forces. Okay, so exogenetic forces are the forces which are working over the Earth's surface. If this is the Earth's surface, the forces which are working over the Earth's surface is called the exogenetic forces or the exogenic force. So I hope you have a clarity that what is the endogenic forces and what is the exogenic forces. Both are the forces that are responsible for the geomorphic processes. But exogenic forces work upon the Earth's surface, and the endogenic forces which work beneath the Earth's surface. I hope this is clear in your mind. So please tell me, are you getting? Both are the different. So if the endogenetic forces, so further we categorize the endogenetic forces into the two parts. If the endogenetic force is working, then there are two type of the force. On the basis of the pace of the force, we can categorize the endogenetic force into the two parts. Okay, so if the force is working on the pace of the force, we can categorize the endogenic forces into the two parts. Okay, if we categorize the endogenic forces on the pace of, if this is the endogenic forces, if this force is working in a quick time period, or in the short time span. Okay, so then it is called the sudden force. Then it is termed as the sudden force. So endogenic force is divided or categorized as a sudden force if the endogenic force or the force work in a short time period or the short span of the time. So this is the sudden forces. And the force which works on a long time period, which works along a long time period, then such type of the force of the endogenic is called the diastrophic force. Okay, so further we can categorize the endogenic force. I think you are clear in the endogenic force. That means all the things is working beneath the earth's surface. Beneath the earth's surface, if any force which is suddenly works, then it is called the sudden force. If the force is working over a long time period, that means the pace of the working force is very slow. If the pace of the working force is very slow, then it is termed as the diastrophic force. Okay, then it is termed as the diastrophic force. I hope you are clear. And this is the sudden force. What is the consequence of this sudden force? If the sudden force is happening, then it is responsible for some disastrous phenomena like the earthquake. What is the earthquake? Earthquake is the result of the sudden force, sudden endogenic forces. Earthquake, what is the earthquake? If the sudden force is applied beneath the earth's surface, then there is a disturbance between it in the plates. If the disturbance is taking in the plates, then this is disturbance release the energy, and that energy in the form of the seismic waves or in the form of the waves arrives at the earth's surface and make the tremor. And the such type tremoring or the such type phenomena is also called the earthquake. What is the earthquake? Earthquake, I think you have clear. What is the earthquake? Is the consequence of the sudden force which is working beneath the earth's surface. And the second, if the sudden force is happening, then the volcanic process or the volcanism is happen. Volcanism is also the result of the sudden force. Volcanism is also the result of the sudden force. Okay, so this is result of the sudden force. So this force which is working on the low pace, or you can say this force is working in very gradual manner. Gradually this force is working. So this is called the diastrophic force. So most of the structure, most of the geomorphology on the earth surface which I have seen, or which we have seen at the present time, is the result of the diastrophic force. Is the result of the diastrophic force. If the diastrophic force is working, there is a two possibility. If the force is working at any place, there is a two possibility. If the force is working horizontally, then there is a different case. If the force is working on the vertical condition, so two possibilities are there. If the weather force is working horizontally or it is working vertically. So if the diastrophic force is applied horizontally, if the diastrophic force is applied horizontally, if the diastrophic force is working horizontal, then this type of the force is responsible for the formation of the mountains, and such type of the force is termed as the this is called the orogenic forces. Such type force is called the orogenic force. Orogenic force, oro means orography is the study of the mountains. Oro means, oro term is generally used for the mountains. If the horizontal force is working in the slow pace, then it is responsible for the formation of the mountains. Most of the mountains which are situated on the Earth's surface at the present time are the result of the such type forces. One of the mountain type is developed by the volcano, that is called the volcanic mountain, but most of the rest mountains are the result of the orogenic forces, and that force is the force which is working beneath the surface in a very low in a long time period, or you can say that a very low pace. If the force is working vertically, then it is responsible for the formation of the mountains. Sorry, not a formation of the mountain, it is responsible for the formation of the continents. Okay, so vertical, if the force is working vertical, then the such type of the force is called the epirogenic forces. Epirogenic forces. So in this session, or the now we are discussing what? We are discussing the geomorphic process. What is the geomorphic process we have done? But geomorphic process is responsible, or geomorphic process is done by the some forces. And there are two forces which are responsible for the geomorphic process. And the one force that is working beneath the surface, that is the endogenic forces. And we further categorize the endogenic forces in the diastrophic and the sudden forces. If the diastrophic force is further categorized, then on the direction of the working force, we can categorize the diastrophic force in the orogenic forces and the epirogenic forces. What is the result of the orogenic forces? What is the result of the epirogenic forces? We have to discuss here. Okay, so if the orogenic forces is working, then there is a two type of the force work. Then there are two type of the forces seen. If we look orogenic forces, orogenic force, you understand that the orogenic force is the force beneath the surface which is working horizontally. If the orogenic forces happen, then further there are two conditions. There is a two chances. Okay, so if we understand this is the any area, if the force is horizontally working, then there is two conditions. If the force is working horizontally in the opposite direction, whether it is working in the opposite direction or it is working in the same direction. If the force is working in the opposite direction horizontally, then such type force is called the tensile force. This is called the tensile force, or you can say it the tensional force. It is also termed as the tensional force. But if the force is working in horizontally into the same direction, then this type of the force is called the compressional force. Then such type of the force is called the compressional force. So further, we can divide the orogenic forces into the compressional force and into the tensile force. What is the compressional force and what is the tensile force? Compressional force are the force which is working horizontally into the same direction, and the tensile force are the force which is working into the opposite direction horizontally. So compressional force and the tensile force, the further we can divide the orogenic forces into the two parts, the compressional force and the tensile force. Have a look from the beginning. We started the geomorphic process. This is the endogenic process. Endogenic process or the endogenic forces. Endogenic forces is further divided into the diastrophic and the sudden force on the basis of the pace. On the basis of the pace, we can divide it. Diastrophic force is further divided on the force applied direction, on the direction of the force applied. If the force is applied into a horizontal direction, then it is categorized as the orogenic force. If the force is applied into the vertical direction, then it is called the epirogenic force. So orogenic force is further divided into the two parts. If the force is working into the same direction, then it is termed as the compressional force. If the force is working into the opposite direction, then it is termed as the tensile force. Okay, so this is important concept. This is very important to understand for better understanding of the basic theories of the geography. ठीक है, तो compressional force and the tensile force, or you can say it the tensional force. If the compressional force is happening, then this force is related, or if the compressional force is happening, then it is the it convert the land mass into the folded mountains, and somewhere it is also converts the block mountain. Block mountain is also formed by the compressional force. If the tensile force is happening, then it is majorly responsible for the block mountain. It is majorly responsible for the block mountain. Okay, and other many phenomena is also, many structure is also seen with this type of the forces. Okay, so this is the compressional force and the tensile force. The another force, as we know, horizontal orogenic we have done, but vertically force, that is the epirogenic forces. In the epirogenic forces, if the epirogenic forces is happening, epirogenic forces are the forces which is working vertically in the vertical direction. If the force is working vertical direction, there is a two possibilities. If the any landmass is already situated, then due to this force, it can be submerged. And if any landmass which vertical force which is at the same condition, but due to the vertical forces, this landmass can be arise. If this landmass is arises, then this is the another possibility. So there is a two possibility. If the vertical force is working, if the some part which is treated as the continent at the present time, due to the vertical force is working downward, that is why it is termed into the sea or the ocean basin. If any ocean basin is already existed at the present time, due to the vertical force, it can be converted into the landmass, or it can be converted into the continental part. So continent can be submerged, and the any submerged area, that is termed as the oceanic body or the oceanic level, that could be arises over the water or the sea level. So this is the result of the epirogenic forces. Okay, so I have I think that you have a clear picture in your mind. So what is the endogenetic forces? Okay, we will clear it into detailed discussion. We further continue with the detailed discussion, but today you should make a draft in your mind. Okay, what is the main what topic we should study? Okay, so this is the epirogenic forces, and this is the ending of the endogenic forces. Now we should know about the exogenetic forces. What is the exogenetic forces or the exogenic forces? If any structure or any structure is formed, or any geomorphic structure is developed on the Earth's surface, then it is not remain as it is developed. It is not remain same at the long time period. If you look any mountain, like today if we talk about the Aravalli range, Aravalli was an important mountain at that. You know that the oldest mountain range of the India as well as the world. But you look the Aravalli at the present time, then you should it is very difficult to draw a conclusion that it is the mountain, because it is eroded somewhere. somewhere it is eroded and flattened at the level of the surface of the other areas. So Aravali is not at the present time is complete mountain because due to the exogenetic forces. Because exogenetic forces are the forces which are responsible to erode or which are responsible to destroy any geomorphic structure which has been developed due to the endogenetic processes. Okay, so exogenetic process or exogenic process forces are the forces that are responsible to erode and that are responsible to erode the any surface of the earth, erode the any geomorphic surface. Okay, so I think you are getting the points. Okay, what is the exogenetic forces? If you look at if somewhere any river channel is moving, if the water channel is moving anywhere, then due to the movement of that particular water, some structure is changed or some structure is eroded, and some structure is eroded from somewhere, and that deposition or that deposits are deposited to anywhere, or that sediments are deposited to anywhere, and there is a formation of the new structure. So due to the exogenetic process, what is the exogenetic forces? The forces which is working over the earth's surface, So if it is working over the earth's surface, that means the forces, the responsible agents for the making of that type of forces, you can say that the agents which are working over the earth surface, like the moving water, like the other things. So exogenetic forces are the forces which are working over the earth surface. So these exogenetic forces can be divided into the three parts. The first one is this is called the weathering. The first phenomena which is under the exogenetic forces or due to the exogenetic forces, the first phenomena is seen, that is the weathering. Weathering is an important phenomena and it directly can be asked in your examination, in the mains examination. What do you understand by the weathering and how weathering is responsible for the formation of any geomorphic structure on the earth surface. So weathering is the phenomena. Weathering. The second phenomena which is due to the exogenetic forces, that is the erosion. Erosion is the second phenomena which is due to the exogenetic forces, and the third one is the mass movement. Mass movement is the movement of the land surface due to the impact of the gravity. If due to the impact of the gravity, if any land surface is moving, it is termed as the mass movement, like the landslide or any boulder rolling. Such type of the phenomena is called the mass movement. So this is three phenomena. There are three phenomena: weathering and erosion and mass movement. Weathering further can be categorized into the three parts. The first is some weathering is happened due to the physical things, or the physical factors are responsible for the weathering. Like if any rock is in the open part, if any rock is in the bare condition, and due to the impact of the sunlight, the temperature of that particular rock is increasing. If the temperature of that particular rock is increasing, that means the rock will be expand. And during the night condition or during the winter condition, the temperature of that particular rock will be decreasing. If the temperature of rock is increasing and decreasing for a long time period due to the contraction and the expandation. So expansion and contraction, due to the expansion and the contraction, the rock will be break. So if any rock is expand and then contract, expand and contract, then the physical bonding of that particular rock will be weak, and that will be responsible for the breaking of that particular rock. And if that particular rock is breaking, such situation is called the weathering. So some phenomena or some weathering condition is due to the physical agents, and that is termed as the physical weathering. And some phenomena is due to the chemicals present in the rock. If any rock is loses its actual condition or its actual form due to the some chemical reactions or due to the some chemical factors, then such type of the phenomena is called the chemical weathering. Like the if we take an example that the rock of the limestone or the limestone. Limestone, you know that lime is soluble in the water. If the water is moving through the limestone rock, if the water is moving through the limestone rock, then the water can dissolve the limestone. And if the limestone dissolves with the water, then it would be weak. And after the certain time period, it will be the break. And the such type of the weathering condition is called the chemical weathering. Okay. So chemical weathering, physical weathering, and the third one is the biological weathering. There is some biological factors is responsible for the breaking of the rock. Like if the movement of the animals, if on any land surface or any rock condition, then due to the bow of that particular animals, the composition or the bonding of that particular rock is weakened. So due to the weaker bonding, after some time period, that particular land surface or that particular rock will be in breaking condition. And that is why it is termed as the biological weathering. And some other example, you can take some bacteria or some other organism which are also responsible for weakening the bonding of that particular land surface. So like some bacteria, if you see that any structure is there, and the best example of that particular thing is posturing of the animals on the high sea region, high mountainous region. Sometimes due to the bows of that particular animals, the rock getting weaker, and that is why it is turns into the breaking condition. Turns into the breaking condition, and which is responsible for the biological weathering. So you can categorize the weathering into the three parts. First one is the physical weathering, chemical weathering, and the biological weathering. This is due to that phenomena are happening due to the exogenetic forces. That means the other factors which are responsible, the factors which are living on the earth surface, or the factors which are found on the earth surface, that is which are responsible for the which are responsible for the exogenetic forces. So these factors, the factors which are responsible for the physical weathering is also on the earth surface, chemical weathering on the earth surface, biological weathering on the earth surface. Erosion. What is the erosion? Erosion is also an important phenomena. And the erosion, what is the erosion? Erosion means if any agent which is working on, if any rock is breaking, if the rock is getting break, and after that the sediment of that particular rock is transported from that that particular region to another region. So in this weathering, there is no transportation. There is no transportation of the rock system. If the rock is bricked, then rock is situated at that particular region. The location, there is no locomotion. There is no locomotion, but there is a locomotion. So erosion is the phenomena in which the erosion agent breaks the rock and continue translocate that rock into the another region. And that locomotion, this locomotion is create the difference between the weathering and the erosion. There is no locomotion, there is no movement, there is no transportation, but here is a transportation. So the factor which are able to transport the debris, or which are able to transport the sediments from one region to another area, one area to another area are responsible for the erosion. But the factors which are which don't have the capability, which don't have the caliber to translocate anything, which is also responsible for the weathering, but that factor is not responsible for the erosion. Okay, so erosion is the phenomena in which the location transportation is an important feature. Transportation is an important feature in the erosion. So I hope you understand. And the some factors which has the capability to transport the debris, like the running water. Running water. Whether this running water is in the river form, whether it is in the form of the sea waves. Sea waves also has the capacity to break the any coastal part. Okay, so running water, erosion, running water, wind. Wind also has the capacity to break the any rock, and also has the capacity to translocation or the transportation. So wind, glaciers, transportation. This is the important feature of the erosion. The mass movement is the movement of the rocks. Rocks movement in the effect of the gravity. Here is an important factor which, or the you know about it. The important keyword is the gravity. Key point is the gravity. If the any movement of the rock is happening due to the gravity, then it is termed as the mass movement. And if the gravity impact is seen maximum at the slopey region. Slopey means at the mountainous region. If you move at the mountainous region somewhere, if you move somewhere in the mountainous region, there is a possibility to rolling back of the this type of the rock, or the sometime there is sometime there is a, you see that the landslide. So such type phenomena is happen due to the gravity, and that is why this is termed as the mass movement. This is termed as the mass movement. What is the mass movement? I hope you understand. Ghatak core. My name is Aman. Okay, very good. Engineer Vimal Bharti. अमित थेनवा. सर हिंदी में बोल के समझा दीजिए. हिंदी में समझना है बेटा, तो आप ना 10 बजे आओ. 10 बजे IAS PCS बाय एग्जामपुर के यूट्यूब चैनल पे आ जाओ. वहां पे आपको हिंदी में चीजें मिलेंगी. और आप में से कितने लोग ऐसे हो जिनको इस बार एग्जाम देना है? How many candidates among you who have planned to appear in 2023 prelims or the civil services examination? Vimal Bharti. In which year you will appear? Just wait. I think there is a network issue. I'm fixing it. So wait, just. काम नहीं करता है कौन? Hello guys, please confirm me that I'm audible or not. My audio video is reaching to you. Okay, Engineer Vimal Bharti, you will appear in 2023. Okay, and the BPSC 67th. Okay. Mains BPSC 67. Sorry, very good. Main 67th. I think BPSC 67th prelims has been done. Prelims has conducted. 67th prelims has been conducted, I think, but a result is awaited. I think result is not declared. Okay, not in August. Mains in August or prelims in August? 67th. The prelims of the 67th is whether the prelims of the 67th has been done or not. Has been conducted or not? Okay. That means your mains examination is scheduled in the August. Okay, very good. And for UPSC, you will appear in 2023. Okay, very good. Okay, 67th. There is a very confusion in the Bihar. 67th, 68th, 69th. Okay. Now move on this. So I think it is clear that what is the exogenic forces and the endogenic forces. And these two forces is collectively responsible for the geomorphic processes. Okay, so I think you understand what is the geomorphic process and the forces responsible for the geomorphic processes. So let's move in the beginning. So we will start from there. Diastrophic forces. In the diastrophic force, you know about the force is applying in very slow pace, or the force is applying in the force is working on a long time period. That is why the movement is very slow. If the movement is very slow, then the consequence or the result of that particular phenomena or the process is seen after a long time period. That means if any mountain is started to making, if any mountain is in the making process, then it would take a long time period, millions of the years it is taking. If you understand, if you study about our Himalaya is the latest mountain on the earth surface, and you term at the new folded mountain, and it is the making process of the Himalaya was started approximate 60 to 65 million years ago. And at the present time, Himalaya is also in the making process. Our Himalaya is also developing at the present time. So before the 65 million year, that formation of the Himalaya was started 65 million year. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So you can imagine how many years or how many times this type of the process is taking. So it is a result of a long time period. It is not happening in the short time period. But where if you look in the sudden forces, this is the this take only few seconds, or you can say this take only few milliseconds. This type of the phenomena is happening into the a few milliseconds. If the earthquake is happening, if the earthquake is generating, then this earthquake is take the some few seconds or the some seconds, or the in the few seconds you will look the result of that particular. If the volcanic eruption is happening or the volcanism is happening, this is also taking a short span of the time. So this type of the phenomena are the short span of the time, took the short span of the time. Okay, so this is the important things. Diastrophic movement. Tomorrow we will discuss the diastrophic forces. What are the diastrophic forces and how these diastrophic forces are responsible for the formation of the any continent, submergence of the any continent, and how these are responsible for the orogenic force processes, why the different type of the mountains are formed at the different region, why the Himalayan region is or the Himalayan mountain is a folded mountain, why there is no any block mountain, and what are the factors responsible for the formation of the block mountain and the different type of the mountain. So this topic would be very important topic for you. So I hope you will continue with me at the morning 8 a.m. to daily to at the 8 a.m. we will continue with the such type of the topic. So we will cover the topics which are important for the mains examination, because your mains examination is going to happen into September. Your mains examination is going to happen into the September, and this type of the topic is very crucial or the very important for the mains perspective. So we will continue this topic. So next topic or the next day or the tomorrow we will discuss the further things, which is the diastrophic forces. It would be very helpful for you, and during this type of the topic we will discuss the important theories. As you if you look the previous question paper of the mains civil services, then you looked at the every year UPSC has asked one theory. That sometime 1 year it is asked the continental drift theory, then next year the plate tectonic theory, next year the sea floor spreading theory. So such type theories are very important, and we will cover the such type theory in this topic. So these topics are very important topic, would be very helpful for you into your mains examination. Okay guys, so we will meet into next class. So please subscribe this channel, share this session, and like this session. Okay, thank you so much.